That song, I feel like it's so timeless. It sounds like it could have been written yesterday. And it feels also so ahead of its time. It feels like it could be written tomorrow.
It's never the same twice. Ed just has his ability to do it. He just makes the rules up as he goes along, really.
When we were recording, I was like, this feels very special, but my God, I didn't realise how massive it would go.
You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. It's all you need me, man, I don't need you.
My name's Jake Gosling and I'm a songwriter and music producer. Yeah, we've collaborated a lot. I pretty much did all of his EPs. Worked with him when he was like just sort of 17 years old. Then went on to do Plus, which was his first album.
White lips, pale face.
First time I met Ed was at Sunningdale train station just around the corner. He turned up with a tiny little guitar on his back. We got here and we started talking about, you know, what we were going to write about.
They say she's in the class 18.
Ed as a songwriter, when I first met him, was really clear in terms of his vision. I think the first thing I noticed about Ed was his confidence.
When I first wrote with him, one of the first things that was like I was so struck by was how he works so quickly. I think as a writer, it's so instinctual, which I think is so cool. We've written songs together and he just commits so fully to the vision of what he thinks, and then maybe it doesn't work out or maybe it does, but I think it's that commitment that is so special.
His whole writing process was very sort of unique. What I found interesting was the fact that he suddenly said, well, I'm really into rapping, I love rap. And I was like, okay, right.
Now I'm in town, break it down, thinking of making a new sound, playing a different show every night in front of a new crowd.
The first time I heard You Need Me, I Don't Need You was actually on MySpace, and I was blown away by it. It was like so unique and so different.
I picked him up from the station and my daughter Mally was only like 4 months old, so I put her in the high chair in the kitchen and I said, will you play me something? And so he played me You Need Me on his guitar, and then he did a whole verse about my kitchen, and I was just like, this kid is ridiculous.
What struck a chord with me was the lyric, you need me, I don't need you. As soon as I heard that, I was like, this is absolute genius.
You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. It's all you need me, man, I don't need you.
To start off with, you got that one bar loop, just the dun 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 dun. Effectively, a loop pedal it records phrases, be that through a guitar, any other instrument, or a vocal, a microphone input. So you can then overdub on top of that. You can pause it, stop it, start it again.
I think with Ed having the loop pedal, it really did craft his songwriting. What that gave was to go within this short space. Once you loop that up, you've got that bit, right? And if you love that bit, then you're good. And then the next bit, someone else will come in. You would still write, you know, lyrically as a story. But in terms of the sonics, that would loop, you know, and then it would go from there and then become this thing that would build and build and build and build.
I think it makes him so unique, and he's just such a master of it. It's like it's the easiest thing in the world. I know for a fact it's very difficult.
Ed's quite unusual in so much as obviously he uses it for percussive input, he uses it for vocal input, guitar input, and whereas a lot of people just leave it looping all the time, so it's basically a background. Ed uses it for emphasis, so there's a lot of starting and stopping it.
Long nighter, short height and I've gone hyper. Never be anything but a singer-songwriter. Yeah, the game's over, but now I'm on a new level. Watch how I step on the track without a loop pedal.
I know just because of being in audiences when he did it, and people almost, you know, being like, how on earth is he doing that? And then going off on these new verses that then became, you know, very much incorporated in the live show.
You can find me in the club, but I fill up. Mommy, I got the X, getting and taking drugs.
It's never the same twice. We've never heard it the same twice. And I say, and the beauty is, step on that loop pedal, clear it, it's gone.
You Need Me, I Don't Need You. It started in one form, but then when we came to the studio, we then developed from that. You know, new drums added to it and guitar tones and other things just to bring it in, and it expanded from there basically and became the song it became. And then when Jamal came down to film, it just went crazy.
Now I'm in town, break it down, thinking of making a new sound, playing for SBTV for the new...
SBTV was a really successful platform. It was pushing the boundaries of discovering new artists. I think Ed was the first sort of singer-songwriter who wasn't actually a rapper to be on the show.
My eyes are red, I've been burning.
For me, yeah, it was a calculated risk, 100%. I just saw he was like rapping, singing, beatboxing, doing all this loop pedaling stuff. And I was like, right, this is sick. I have to film this, like, the talent's mad.
On YouTube, you know, you couldn't deny by watching it that it was phenomenal. I mean, everyone was talking about it.
At that moment, the loop pedal, mixed with the camera, mixed with the song, that's what made that piece which, like, travelled the world.
It was like a movement of people that latched onto this kid and were like, what is this? The fact that he was so young as well. I don't think anyone had ever seen anything like it before.
It's just such effortlessly honest songwriting. He's truly in his own league, I feel like, as a songwriter and as a musician, as both.
He has like a vision, I'm gonna do this. He's always just pushed every conceivable boundary.
From when I met him, it was like a wave. The only way I could describe it, it was like being on this wave that got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and obviously being a part of that whole journey was insane. You Need Me, I Don't Need You literally just went like wildfire, and I think that's just because it was amazing. Simple as that. Yeah, feels like yesterday.
Don't need you.